I started like, you fought for the nigga.
Yeah.
It's what,
We can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. Nothing.
Oh, I was just about to say. Okay, I was just about to say. It won't get crazy.
Okay.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Ready? Okay. 3, 2. I just did that because you was here.
Let's late.
It's right there. Go ahead. Let's warm her up. Take the steak, T. She's so excited, y'all.
Because you know I was
in real life.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi, guys.
What's up?
I'm TT.
I'm Gigi.
And I'm Dee Dee.
This is episode 227 of the Oprah Rose Show.
Isn't that a show?
Yes.
227?
Yeah.
Oh,
What do you
yeah,
mean, it's a show?
I believe so.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it. So
You never watched 227? What's wrong with y'all when it re-aired?
It re-aired, like it came back.
Yes.
As a
It was like it came out with like
that?
Amen.
Who on that?
The old lady with the little look like DW Bob, and she was always sitting in the window. Jack Hay,
Regina King was in.
Yeah, she's a kid.
Oh, as a kid, okay.
I'm literally like looking at like, what?
Sorry.
Did y'all watch Amen? Because I actually used to love it.
Amen.
Yeah.
The Sherman Hemsley.
Yeah, but I mean, I wasn't like an avid watcher.
My mama was watching it.
Yeah.
Of course she was.
Of
course she
Y'all
was.
know my saved and sanctified mother was watching
Yeah.
that shit.
She turned it off when Rock came on.
Yeah.
I'm dead.
Yes.
That was Rock came
Yes.
on. I'm dead.
That was right after.
Tell me you black without telling me you black.
Okay.
like, what are you asking in your Love is Blind quarters?
Did you watch Amen?
You'd be like, so what's your favorite episode of New York Undercover? Like, the second you'd be like, New York Undercover.
Or Martin.
Yeah, or Martin. Yeah.
New York Undercover was a little before my time.
You did not watch New York Undercover?
It came on very late, and I think I had a curfew. Because I was like 8, 9. 7, 8, 9.
I watched every single solitary episode.
The fact
of New York
that
Undercover.
you remember an episode from New York.
Oh,
I didn't want to
I
say
remember
nothing.
characters.
I didn't want my black card to
I
stick
watched,
it, 'cause I didn't know
no.
a
So you know
damn
BET
thing.
started re-airing it.
Weed,
BET
so I don't
oh, no, I
remember
love
shit
it.
past 10 years ago.
Oh, I actually had a theory, and so I can't think of it was something with Ice-T. First of all, the fact that Ice-T was a whole killer on New York Undercover and then went to Law and Order SVU with Detective Tutuola.
Yeah.
Like, talk about a
I know
transition.
that's
For 10 years. He's still on there, right?
Still on
Still
there.
on there.
Wow.
Longest between him and Mariska
Oh.
Hargitay or whatever. I think they're the
Yes.
longest. They actually been on like TV for like the longest or some shit. I don't really have the stat, but
Good for them.
That's amazing.
write in your
Good
favorite
for
shows, questions, comments, and concerns to the overall show.
Look, 'cause y'all know we watch a TV show.
We don't do shit. We watch TV.
We know we watch a
Shit.
TV
Speaking
show.
of TV.
Speaking of TV,
Ooh.
we're still in LA, so this is so perfect. I have a what's this thing called, a cue card, a slate. Thank you.
Slate.
See, Joelle, I like you. You know, LA Joelle. We are still in LA, so it was only right. I feel like we've had a lot of like LA energy, so it's only right that now. Hold on, I'm getting all my titles together.
Oh yeah, because Krystal got a good one.
Yeah.
Krystal is the senior producer of digital at The Real Daytime.
Come on.
And Taking Up Space pod. Love to see it. Love to see it. Krystal,
I didn't know
welcome
if
to the
y'all
show.
wanted me to talk before it, so I just...
No, you did everything
silently
right.
agree.
You doing it right. You doing it right.
Krystal,
That's what it
did
is.
you watch Amen or New York Undercover or 227?
I'm almost 36. I watched Outlet.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay, we found our tribe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We found our tribe. Yeah, that's why I was like,
Well, I'm almost 35, and
Where are you from?
Baltimore.
Maybe
But-
it's a geographical...
No.
it's not.
Her
I'm
ass
from
was
Baltimore,
watching
but
it.
I'll be 37, so I was
love
watching all that.
Amen. What, your
Loved
friends?
Amen.
Hemsley?
Yeah, that's why I said literally he burned her.
Here and there,
Yeah. I love Amen. It was good.
That's
Yeah,
good.
loved it. Crystal.
Yes.
So you are originally from Dallas, Texas.
Yes,
Okay.
I am.
What has brought you to LA?
Dreams.
Yes.
Yeah. I was here at 20 to 2007, summer 2000.
Oh, you was the
Oh, you are OG
first
LA.
wave. Like
Okay.
you was.
No,
people was coming.
no. Sorry. I was in college. I had an internship.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I was in college and I came here for internship summer before my senior year. And I remember after my 9 weeks, I was like, I'm going to live here one day. I'm going to do it.
Yes.
And it took me 14 years, but I moved here June 2020.
Okay.
Oh, so you're
Wow,
a
newbie.
couple months before after me. Yeah, I moved March 2020.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where were you before?
I was in Laurel, Maryland.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was from Maryland.
Which
So I was
town?
trying to get
back.
TV1. So
Okay.
I was
Okay.
That's
We
where
are very
Silver
familiar with
Spring.
Laurel.
Very, very. That's why I said I'm ready to get the fuck ASAP out of New
Yeah.
York, and I will go anywhere at this
Yeah,
point.
me and T live in New York
Come
now.
on to LA.
Yeah. And I wouldn't do LA.
What?
We just actually want to talk about this.
We trying to go to Atlanta.
Yeah. Everybody thinks we're crazy, Dee.
I don't give a damn. I'm going to Marietta with you. We're
Right,
going
we going to
to
Shall we gonna be ladies who list?
Wait, why you not fucking with Atlanta, Krystal?
Nobody is.
It's just
It's a little ran through.
it's very urban. And I would like to have a diverse place to live.
Okay.
Because sometimes we get on our, we
get on each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that. I get that.
Which is why I don't want to be in Atlanta.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
according to what's her name, Amaretta?
Yeah.
Marietta.
I'm not gonna be in Atlanta.
Right.
You can go to Tucker too. That's a little
Yeah.
further up.
I can be an
No,
hour
but
away.
I don't want to. I was just about to say. No, that sounds like they got Confederate flags on their damn cars. I don't want to do that
Tucker.
now. Yeah, Tucker sounds very.
Tucker,
Well.
I know a few affluent black families who live in
Tucker,
who live in
Georgia?
Tucker.
Okay, that's my good place. I'm feeling like moving to Tucker,
You can
Georgia.
get a nice, beautiful ass house up there.
Sure, and it'll take you 14 hours to get to the
It will take you 14 hours to get to the city in
Right.
traffic.
Mhm.
And Atlanta always has traffic. 2
Always.
a.m., 2
Always,
p.m.
yeah.
It don't fucking
How
matter.
they got traffic too, Krystal?
Right.
Not at 2 a.m.
Yes, it do.
On the weekdays.
Where you
On
come
the
from?
weekdays.
I was like, yes, it do. I think for me with LA, I just have to know the times. Like, I remember one time I tried to schedule a meeting completely on the opposite side, and they were like, "That's never gonna work." Like, I didn't know. Like,
Yeah.
I also
That's
don't
not
do
like
highway driving, really.
And then I heard that
Yeah.
I know someone else that was like, "No, I don't drive the highway."
Yeah.
So like,
I
I
take
guess you don't have the same issue.
La Brea, Crenshaw, all day. But also,
But you South LA.
I'm South LA. Yeah.
I don't even know what
if you're in
part
the
of LA.
valley, that's different because that's all it is highway.
It's
driving.
giving insecure.
Yeah.
I feel like insecure.
Yes.
No, it's fine. It's a vibe here.
Is it?
Great.
Yeah, but like,
Well, Krystal, how you been loving it?
I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
It's the best decision I've ever made in my life.
wow.
Yeah. And I've lived in 5 cities in 11 years. 5
Okay.
states.
Where else?
So I came from Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
I used to live in Chicago. I used to live in New York. And
Okay.
then Louisiana when I was in college. So
Oh,
I'm from
how'd
Texas.
you like Chicago?
I didn't.
Okay. Too cold.
Very cold.
Yeah, I that's too cold
I'm
for
not.
me.
I'm not down for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing about it is attractive. Like,
And sometimes I just feel like LA is the vibe is the weather. Like I don't think there's a whole
It
lot of
is.
culture
Oh.
here.
you have to find your
and-
group though. When you find
Right.
your tribe and your people, like,
But you gotta work so
gotta
hard to do that.
But I think you naturally do it because of the rooms that you sometimes occupy with people.
That's true.
Common interests, social media.
Yeah.
Like I knew a lot of my friends here before I even moved here.
Yeah, like I think it,
That's
like
real.
because G
No
is
idea.
here, it's a lot easier,
Right.
right? Like you not being here would be a whole hell of a lot harder.
Yeah.
But I still think that there's not a lot of like culture or
You gotta go look
vibes.
for it. You gotta go
Like
look for it for sure. Lamar Park.
It's on the south side.
Yeah.
It's not
Inglewood.
where
Yeah, it's not the
where people I
trendy
think
part.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
not where like
it ain't
ain't
West
West
Hollywood.
Hollywood.
No,
It's
it's
not
not West
Willow,
Hollywood
it's
at
not.
all.
No.
No.
West Hollywood is not a vibe. Like I'm already need a song. Larry June need to make a
It's,
fucking
called,
song.
it's not a vibe.
It's not a
It's not a vibe. Yes.
Exactly. So
WeHo
like,
is not a vibe.
WeHo is not a
Mid
vibe.
City is not a vibe.
Mid City.
Don't hate on Mid City.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Dead. I'm dead. So how did you get into TV production?
Yeah, so I started very young knowing what I wanted to do, and I'm so thankful for that. I knew I wanted to be a journalist at about 15, living single, Khadijah
Oh,
James.
yeah.
Wow.
Come on,
The
School of
power
Khadijah
of
James.
amazing black programming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Showing you what you could be.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I had
because
no
you didn't
idea.
see that
No
before.
I knew
idea.
I liked reading and writing and talking, but I had no idea what that looked like, I didn't even know what that was. I mean, of course,
Yeah.
you know, news anchors growing up. I was like, I didn't want to be on the news. I wanted to do something fun and poppy and entertainment. And my mom was like, well, that's a journalist. And I was like, what's a journalist? She was like, entertainment talk, lifestyle kind of conversations that sometimes on air, sometimes, for magazines and television. And I was like, okay, I want to do that. And so I started in high school. I was the yearbook editor.
Oh,
and,
wow.
like the photographer and like all these nerdy things. And then I got into radio in college. And I was like, you know what, I want to transition out of radio and I want to do television. But again, I didn't want to do like informational, that hardcore investigative journalism. And so I was like, well, I'm gonna just talk about what I want to talk about. And back then we had a little thing called Facebook when it was just for
college. When you had to wait for your school to be added.
Yes, I got on Facebook in 2004, my freshman year in college.
Same.
Wow.
And we were only one of 5 schools. So
What school did you go to?
Grambling, yeah.
Grambling State University.
So there were.
Come on now.
Y'all know I'm mama, so like I could not figure out how to use Apple Pay yesterday. Like someone sent me Apple Pay and I could not. Yeah, and I was literally like, what? And I was trying to send it to somebody else. I had to Google how do you send it.
Yes.
You have Samsung Pay.
They do?
Yeah.
Oh, we do got that.
Yep.
I got it on there.
Yeah,
I use it for everything.
Really?
I never use really my card unless it's like a restaurant.
No, and
every little machine you go to,
pull it up.
You hit it twice, and boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
My card's
No, because then I was on the treadmill and it kept coming up, and I was like, well, what if somebody trying to steal my damn information? And I was like, what the fuck?
Mama.
Yeah, and I was like, the fuck? I could not.
Why were you hitting the
I wasn't. It kept pulling it up. That's why I was like, I literally tried to get rid of it.
Grandma, we gonna help you.
Yeah, I could not.
Grandma.
I could
We gonna
not
help you later.
figure it out.
So it's funny. You moved here June 2020. Our previous guest that we had on here, or actually with our previous guest, we were talking about how you can only move to LA as a black woman, like with your nigga. Did you move with your nigga, or did you meet your man here? Only but pre. I know where I really just
If y'all can see,
derailed.
I have to watch the episode to see our
derailed.
reaction.
Hold on. I don't do nothing for no nigga.
No, that came out. No, that came out
I'm
wrong.
not relocating for you. I'm not doing nothing for you.
Oh yeah, no, that came out wrong.
that.
That came out wrong. So my bad. You weren't privy to the conversation.
Okay,
So
give me the context.
so we were talking about being single in cities,
Okay.
and Los Angeles and dating is a very difficult city to date in. And I moved here with my man, or he was already living here. I moved here. He lived here. T here was like, oh, I would never move to LA single. Like, I feel like this is a city where you move with your nigga. And so that was my question for you, because you moved to June. And I'm like,
she said same answer.
Right.
Because I was saying that to me, LA is a lot. It is a lot. It seems like, because I'm not dating in LA.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot harder to date. I said now for a career, I would move, but I was like, I'm kind of like very established in mine. It would have to be like a really big bag, and like something that I really, really want to do. And it's also like I have other reasons for it. Like I said, I'm very close to my family in Maryland, so like this flight is such a bitch to me to come to travel 6 hours. Like I love that I can get on the Amtrak and I'm home. I'm home in 2.5 hours, and just I'm an East Coast girl, so like in LA, like I said, LA to me is like not a vibe. It's not my thing. So that's why I said, and so to do that. And I'm be single. I was like, oh no. But also, like you said, I think the difference also is you said you were in a college internship and you were like, I love it. Like I've never felt like that about LA.
Really?
Ever.
No, I loved it. I loved it. I said I'm coming back, and I did. It took me 14 years, but I'm here, and I don't want to leave. I think it's so much more than what I expected. And I was always here for work, so it's not like I was a stranger. I was always here for work when I worked at TV One. We always shot here. All of our shows, our movies, we always shot them here or Atlanta. And I don't know, it felt good to be here. It gave me good energy. It gave me opportunity that you don't get in Dallas, that you don't necessarily get in Silver Spring, Maryland. You know what I mean? Like I was just over the East Coast. I was over being at home. Right? I don't ever want to go back to the South. I really love where I'm from, but I don't ever have to move back there ever. I'm good.
But how do you feel like dating in LA has been for you?
It's beautiful.
Oh, okay. See, that's
Bro, you are negating everything everybody said.
I love you already. First of all, I feel like because I moved here and I love it. I'm happy. I love New York, but it was a different time in my life, and I'm no longer in that place. Correct. And so this is what I needed for me. And so I like it, and I'm like, I mean, when I was single and I dated, it wasn't great for me. But I love that you said you have a completely different experience, and especially being a black woman, because the rhetoric is that it's very, very hard for black women to date in general, but also in this city more specifically.
I think mine is just perspective.
Clearly.
I like you said, I came here at a very different time. I just broke up with old boy in Maryland. We were together for 2 years. I was over it. I was bored. I knew I wanted to move here. He was like, well, I can come too. No, sir, stay right where you are. Yeah, don't come nowhere for me. I don't need that. Like that's too much pressure. And I want to also just make sure that you are moving for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Like don't follow me anywhere.
Move.
Yeah, I mean, that's a government job out there in Maryland. Child, stay out there. Yeah. And so we broke up, and I was like, you know what? I've never ever dated before, ever.
You are a relationship girl.
I'm a relationship girl.
Okay.
Never dated in my life.
You're a water sign?
I'm a Cancer.
I knew
that.
Yeah.
Your Cancers always be in relationships.
As soon as you said all out, like,
yeah. So I was like, I'm gonna date for the first time in my life. Ever.
Oh, that's great.
And I'm gonna date multiple people at one time.
Yes.
And I'm gonna be honest about it. And I am going to tell them, like, hey, you're not the only one. And I want to just have open, honest communication about that, so we don't have no issues.
Yeah.
And I took that approach. Now, granted, I did move in the COVID, so I moved June 2020. So we were in the house.
We were in it.
Yeah.
Right. But I had an old friend here, and we started hanging out in the house, and we made it fun and made it interesting. Like, okay, we're gonna just find something new and fun to do in the house. We had like game nights. We would cook. We would bake. And I was like, you know what? I want to do this when we're guys. And he was like, okay, cool. He was like, I'm down with that. He was like, you're new here.
You should.
He literally was like, why not? I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to do that. And he was like, I think you should. More black women should date multiple people at one time.
They
and that really gave me like the battery.
You are just undoing the last
episode. Just fucking doing it. I love it.
Yeah, I just think it's that perspective. Really, it really is. And I was at a place where I was just like, look, I am cute. I want to be out here. It ain't much to do in the COVID, but I still want to be out here.
Yeah.
And just because I changed that, and also, everything for me doesn't have to end at the altar. And I think
very important.
You know, I just wanted to date.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to lay up under a nigga, kiss on him, have all the sex with him, go out with him. It didn't have to end with a ring,
right?
Or with a baby.
Removing the pressure.
I just, you know, I'm not there.
Yeah,
and that's okay.
Right. No, I absolutely love that you said that.
Where's the hand claps? I want to
we need
applause right there
because I think, like you said, literally the two words that you said, like your perspective and like the intentionality of it. Like I'm not trying. It almost made me think about. Remember the old girl in Harlem, and she was like, "Oh, it's big nigga season." Or something.
Yes. She was like, "Nigga season."
I love that.
She was just going in stores.
Like
going in stores looking for
let's just have a good time.
Yeah.
And I think when you approach it like that, as opposed to sometimes like, you know, we automatically sometimes have these like idealistic, and I am a crazy ass type A Leo, and I was raised by a Virgo. So I am psycho. So, you know, everything for me is typically like, I have a very hard time living in the moment and just being present.
Okay.
It's something that I'm like actively working on. Because I'm always like, and I don't care it's in anything. And I'm like, okay, well, 5 years from now, well, what about that? And it's like, bitch, you might step outside and get hit by the B-34 or something like that. Yeah, and it doesn't even happen. But like, I love that because it also, to me, what I hear from what you said also is that, like, being present and living in the moment, as opposed to, like I said, holding on to like, oh, it gotta look like this and it gotta be like that. Because that let me tell you something. Most times, for me to be that person that always is like driving towards this goal, it never works out.
Ever.
I cannot think of one thing that I was like, and low key it ends up better. But
when you live in the moment,
when you just like let go of that, you know, of like whether, like I said, it be career. Like I kind of similar to you. I remember reading a Honey, and I wanted to work in a magazine, and I tried so hard to get an internship at Vibe. I didn't know what the hell they did, and then y'all know we've talked about Suede so many times on this magazine, and I love Suede, so I was like, I want to work in a magazine. I didn't know what I wanted to do. Did not get this internship at Vibe, and I'm like, well, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know. And so I interned at like my local radio station, 92Q.
Okay.
Look, you from Maryland, so interned there. And I never wanted to work in music, and I fought it, and I fought it, and I fought it. Child.
And look at you.
Today.
Like the fact that you said you never wanted to.
And I fought it. I mean, like my first job offer was to be Puff's assistant. And I wouldn't even interview for it. And I was like, no, I would never do that. I don't even want to work in music. Y'all got that. They crazy as shit and they don't pay. Child, again, like I said, fast forward to 2022, 10 years later or whatever, and I've always tried to run from it, and then I would always get called back. Like, I would be like, I'm not doing this.
And you left for a little minute.
I left twice. Yeah. I literally left twice, and then God was like, bitch, if you don't get your monkey ass back.
The thing about it, too, is like God allowed you to call other people to do that as well because they saw what you were doing and wanted to do something similar. And talking about myself.
Yeah.
It's not like,
come on now.
You worked in music, and like how you're using the example of looking in magazines and always wanting to be, in journalism and like doing that, and even Krystal was explaining that too. For me, it was always, I would look through a CD booklet and be like, the way that this booklet came together, I want to do this. I don't even know what this is. Like, who was the person that like picks these photos, picks this font, like picks the title, and who's the like. To this day, I don't really know who technically does it. It's like a mix of
the creative team.
It's like a mix of fucking people.
Creative team, or unless you're an artist with a vision. But like,
right, it's like, but then at that time it was, really the label, I guess.
Yeah, and when I say that, I mean the label.
Right.
Paying these fucking
indies.
Please.
So all of that to say, that allowed me to be able to like figure that out in that space too. Right.
Oh my God!
The impact that we have on people's lives, like we literally
don't
never
even
know.
You
Never know. That's why it's so important to be very honest about what you want, how you want it, and be very intentional about it, because you never know who's gonna come across and be affected and impacted. It could be something very small. Very small.
And not feeling scared to feel like you're not explaining it well, or like you're saying, like how I'm explaining now, like the CD booklet, I want to do that or that, and open up a magazine. We don't know what it's called. We're kind of talking around it, around like this idea of it, and just being comfortable with like someone explaining like, no, baby, let me tell you what this person does, and not knowing, feel like you got to know everything.
Even I think in your career, in the beginning, or when I say in the beginning, I mean 2 years ago, I really struggled with having a new role that I had never done. And there were things that I had never done before. I had been exposed to them, but I didn't know how to do them. And instead of me asking questions and being open to it, I would like freeze up. And I was just like, oh shit, like, I don't know. When I tell you the second I started being like, you know what, I don't know, and I started asking questions, shit just was flowing. I said, oh bitch, you got it. Like, but you can't, like, and it's okay even in the things that you kind of really do know, like I said, it's been over a decade.
Oh yeah.
And like, but I was still able to be like, I don't know this though. And and then I also realized like, I don't ever want to be the smartest person in the room. Like I can learn from the 16-year-old intern or the whomever, because there's still so many things that I don't know. And the second that you're like, oh, I got this, and I don't need to know nothing else. Like, to me, that's the second you stop learning.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah. Which is also, that's not also a bad thing. That's also showing that you've outgrown something too.
Yeah, very true.
And I think also having that discernment to realize, like, whatever this is, I'm not learning anything else. So maybe I should move on and go
free up that space for someone else that could learn.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In your experience here working in TV at the Rio, great show. Thank you. Is there, have you found like your bigger dream?
Yeah, for sure.
And what does that look like?
It's time to pivot. I have worked in digital and social for 15 years.
Yeah.
It's time to think bigger, be bigger, feel bigger. And I don't know what it looks like yet, and I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Right. I'm okay with that. I ain't gotta know everything no more. I just trust God. I really just don't have to know. And not that I don't care to know, but I trust him so much where it's just like, you know what? I know you didn't bring me all the way this far.
Right.
You didn't. You allowed me to move to LA, to leave me. You allowed me to move to LA in the middle of the pandemic. I was still working I secretly moved here. I was still working at TV One.
Wow. Oh my God.
I got in my car and drove 39 hours.
What?
And came to LA.
Oh, you drove.
And showed up,
Oh, yes. The classic. I love it.
Car packed up.
Oh,
my best friend flew in from Dallas and she drove with me.
Yes.
And my godparents live here. So every time I was here for work, I've always stayed with them. And they were like, yeah, come. You know you got a place here. You know you can stay here.
Oh, that's incredible.
And I was like, you know what? I'm going to work this East Coast job on the West Coast. And because I was so confident that God had me, I got here. 28 days later, I got the offer from Warner Brothers.
Wow.
I wasn't even here for a month yet.
Wow.
And I was just like, Okay.
That's
and I had been applying to jobs in
church
LA.
organ.
For all of that spirit.
Yeah, I was just like, I'm
Because you were probably applying for jobs here before you even moved
and I was
here.
just said that, yes, and was never getting anything.
Right.
And I'm like, I didn't did this for a long ass time. I know I'm qualified. Never getting any callbacks, not an interview, not nothing. I get here, I applied late night on LinkedIn. The next morning,
Sneaky ass LinkedIn, boy. Don't sleep on her. Don't sleep. Me
I
too.
love
Don't sleep
the
on
premium,
the dog.
you know, the premium.
Oh yeah, you got to get the
Where you
premium.
can get all the details about the salaries and stuff.
Yeah.
But no, and I was
You can email some or get in somebody's inbox right quick.
Yes. And so I was like, you know what? Now that I know that I am ready to leave the digital and social space, I still want to stay in entertainment.
Yeah.
I still want to stay in film and TV. But I'm ready to pivot and I'm ready to make TV, make movies, make.
Oh, I was curious about that because I feel like people will assume that TV and movies are the same, but they're very, very different, especially with a daily like production show that both require a lot of work. But I feel like there's definitely a different level of pressure that comes with like producing a show daily. Yes, yeah. I was curious about like if you wanted to dive into movies.
Yeah, I think maybe like a creative director role. I kind of want to get into streaming because I've done radio. So I was at the Tom Joyner morning show. I was Tom's producer for 3 years in Dallas. So I sat next to him in Sybil every day, which is a full circle moment because I grew up listening to them literally in the back seat when my mama would drop me off at school. They on the radio, and now I'm helping produce his show. I run his entire social. I was Tom on social for 3 years. I was like a 57-year-old man.
What that sound like?
Girl,
Get ready for this cruise.
I'm very much so like that. I'm very much so like that.
I'm dead.
And I manage his website, and I was just like, hey, I'm tired of radio. Let's go to TV. So I've done broadcast. I've done cable. So I'm thinking streaming and or movies. And if I stay in TV, then I want to do like I want to get like to the premium level channels. So like your HBOs, Five Stars. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because it's so crazy also when you think about it, like how we started off, and we're talking about all these network shows of everything that comes out, and that was our UPNs, our WBs, our lost art. Like we don't have those anymore. No, we don't even.
That's the
like.
restaurant.
But that was right. They got it right.
TGIF. Yeah. ABC.
No.
They got a good Jack Daniels steak in there.
Oh, that
with the shrimp. That was my every Friday. I was so grown. I used to go every Friday.
They used to have a club. There was like a club night on Fridays.
Remember we used to go by my parents' house.
They do a little DJing now, like a little music now.
On Friday.
I used to love TGI Friday.
Same.
I
was there every Friday.
I was there every Friday
until they put me out.
Oh wow!
Okay. The little blue hurricane, child. No, I used to love that place.
I didn't even want to talk about it.
Okay. But yeah.
In Owens Mills.
Oh, child, it's too far from me. Anywho, now the only thing that we watch now seems like it's like Netflix, HBO, because none of us have cable anymore. Like it also priced us out. Like it's so goddamn expensive, and so you really. Cable. I think you still have cable too. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was only $30 extra with the internet. But internet by itself was $100.
Yes,
so it was like, let me
Yikes.
just add $30 to pick 10 channels.
No, mine was very expensive. So I have 69,000 logins. I only pay for Hulu, and I'm about to cancel her because I just found somebody that got a Hulu login. So I'm only paying
Aaron
for
Goldstein strikes again.
I like Hulu.
My cousin's on my Fubo app, so she don't even need to get all the regular.
Something happened, and I was watching something that had commercials, so I was like, wait a minute! Bitch is not even paying. I was like, commercials on Abbott Elementary? I was like, this show is 15 minutes long. The fuck?
Right.
A good show, by the way.
Finally, because I got kicked off somebody else's Hulu, and then I went home, and my mother was watching. I said, oh, sis, slide me the password.
I used Tiara's parents' password for streaming service.
I was using that for
They have every channel that I don't pay for.
It is literally that password is the gift that keeps on giving. So that's what
it's
so
in
many
my
people.
phone. Save password.
Everybody.
Like activate whatever website. Just
It is. I can literally get on there and I'm like, who is watching this? Because it was not me. I would get on OWN. I'm like, God damn, I have not even watched Loving Marriage Huntsville, and it was like completed. I'm like, look, he said, God damn, them niggas watching the day it comes out. I was like, I think so. I was like, I can't even watch it. No, but like again, we watch so much of that. I think what are some of the misconceptions that people have as it relates? I think a lot of times people look at entertainment jobs of like glitz and glam, and it's so much fun, and you have direct access to all these artists. And I'm the first person to be like, I hate rappers, so I could flip this table. Like, how
but I think
much?
anyone's close to artists and creators, they're different type of people.
Yeah, and I think there's so many things that go into these jobs that people don't, understand.
Yeah. Well, first and the most important thing I think is the pay. It's horrible. It's trash. And I think people should know that.
Yeah,
starting out,
anything in entertainment.
Yeah,
is trash.
it's hard.
Yeah.
It's really, really
Fashion,
hard.
entertainment, also.
It's really hard. That's why it's important to negotiate as high as you can so that you can leverage that at your next job. So anytime, like even at WB, I was thinking of the next job. Like, I gotta ask for these amount of commas. So that my next job I can ask for 25 more commas.
Yeah.
And then thank God we live in California. We live in California where it's against the law to ask what you.
New York is too now.
Oh.
Yeah, New York
Yeah,
is
so
too.
employers cannot ask you what you make or what you made at your previous job.
Yeah.
And not a lot of states have that law. So I love that. So it gives you some room to kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, what you want to make.
Yeah. But they can't say, so what did you make at TV One?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you. But $57,500. Horrible. Came here and doubled my
Girl,
salary.
what?
Come on now.
But I think, and that's the other thing, I think we have to have transparency.
You do.
We
Pay
want
transparency, yes, it's important.
I've said this before, but like I was negotiating for a job and I asked a white man what he would ask for. He was asking for $100,000 more than what I was asking for.
Wow.
Like not
That
15.
is substantial.
Right,
Yeah,
that's
not
That
20.
is substantial.
He was asking for $100,000.
But even
more.
15 and 20 makes a difference for people.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right.
Depending on where you live.
Yeah.
Not 10, 15, yes, because I done did the
20.
I done did the breakdown. 15,
10
20. 10 is nothing.
That's that gas.
That's the
10 is gas.
That's the damn gas.
10 is $60 extra,
Yeah.
like every month or something.
I'm
like that.
not leaving for anything less than $50,000 more.
Come
$50,000
on
more.
now.
Yeah.
I'm just not. I live in LA. Like, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
It has to be
the
$50,000.
everything is going up besides the wages.
That's the only
Everything.
thing that the inflation ain't inflating.
The inflation ain't inflating. Like I
Right.
don't understand the weight, and I think especially as Black women, we don't know how to negotiate. So we get these jobs, and you're like, it's almost like this. Oh, I'm happy to be here mentality, and yes, I am. But also, you need to pay me.
Well, or it's the most money you've ever made. That was
Or
my issue.
yes, every
I
time.
went at Tom Joyner and I made $39,000.
Yeah.
I had a bachelor's. I had at that point 8 years of experience. $39,500. Got to TV One, make $57,500. So I'm thinking like, 39, 57 is
It's
the
a
most.
huge
I was
jump.
like, oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
thinking about, so I didn't negotiate my salary. So
Yeah.
not thinking that you're moving to the East Coast.
Yeah.
Yep.
Had no idea, because I'm from a state that don't have no taxes.
Yeah, y'all don't
Yeah.
have state,
All we have
state
is
taxes,
we don't
federal
have none of that.
taxes.
Except
Yeah.
federal. So I moved to a state, Maryland, that did, and I was completely blown away. Like, what is this? I went to HR and was like, my money's missing. Something's not right.
Right.
Yeah.
And she was like, what do you mean? I was like, what I said yes to $57,500. It should, break it down like this. She was like, where'd you move from? I said, Texas. She was like, oh. She said, Maryland has a state tax. I said, what's that? And she said, where do you live? I said, Silver Spring. She said, and you live in a county that has a county tax. I said, what is that?
Oh yeah.
Had never heard of these things in my entire life. So all my money was gone.
Everything.
Wow.
I was
Everything.
like, oh wow.
And this is the shit they don't teach you in school.
And that was an
It's
Black
the
woman-
shit
No.
they don't teach you in school. And like
You
you
had to
said,
learn on the spot.
Yeah, and
Learn
there was a
on the
Black
spot.
woman in HR, and she was like, "Okay, let's pull out your what is it? The I-9? The
W-9.
The-
one of
no,
them.
the-
She was like, "What do you
the
claim?"
little tax
and I was
form,
like,
yeah.
0. She was like, "Claim 1."
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can get a little bit more in your check. And I was like, well, I had no idea. I called my
Yeah.
mom. She was like, they got state taxes? Like, we just
Right.
didn't
You
know.
didn't know.
Yeah.
You don't know. I mean, I spent my whole life in Texas, so I had no idea that states even had that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it was just a learning experience. So it being the most money I'd ever made, it was another reason why I didn't negotiate. And I'm just like, now I'm like, nah, son.
I mean,
It's so quiet for
it's,
it now.
and it's like, to your point, it just should be something that we talk about.
Mhm.
I think amongst Black people,
Absolutely.
it's like this, like hush hush, like I don't want nobody to know what I make, kind
Right.
of thing. And
Yeah.
it's like,
As soon as I leave WB and that contract say I can say it, I'm telling everybody.
Yeah.
yeah, because when I started out, I like uprooted my life, moved to New York, and was like, I'm gonna work in music, and then finally got an assistant job, like working between Def Jam and Republic.
$30,000.
I don't even know if it added up to that technically, because they was paying me $12 an hour.
Oh my god.
Oh, he was on the hour list.
That was like
Oh Lord.
It was literally like, I do not know how I am paying for anything. So I had to actually leave to go back into finance because I was like, there's no way I can even afford
stay here.
I couldn't have I left music for many reasons, but that was one reason because it was like, you gonna haze me, you gonna treat me like shit,
and $12 an hour.
Yeah.
They don't even pay that now.
The money is bad. And
it's so bad. It's so bad.
Another thing, just to answer your question, to complete it, also, mean girls exist in the world, as we know. And I have not worked in many fields outside of entertainment. I worked in HR for about 4 years. And I ran cars at Enterprise for a year. Are they a sponsor?
That's
no. I just did that you said that because we all had our slew of
one of my closest friends worked for Enterprise. She
to this day, I refuse to rip for them. I will go to Avis, Budget.
I heard that.
Them people hurts. I can't. It was horrible. And one day I'm going to get over it.
Yeah, but fuck Enterprise.
Girl, go to Toro.
They're also
nice.
also very expensive. Enterprise, I feel like, is the most
expensive.
They are very expensive.
So mean girls exist in the workplace, yes, but in entertainment, I have found it to be a different type of mean girl.
Oh yeah.
And I was not prepared for that. I was green, like, oh my God, black women, black people.
Girl.
I'm gonna come in here and they're gonna love me and nurture me and encourage me, all this shit. And the bitches was like, who?
Fend for yourself.
Yeah.
We have done many an episode and many a combo on the.
I'm like, why done drug these black women to the motherfucking table, okay?
But I will say, but that's the honesty that we need.
Yeah,
it is.
Yes,
Sometimes
it
honesty
is.
don't feel good, don't sound good, don't smell good, don't taste good. But you need to know, bitches is mean.
They
I'm
are.
talking about bitches that are your age and bitches that are 97 years old and are kind of,
Yeah.
you know, they're cemented in that
Yeah.
position and they see a cute. Don't be cute.
Don't be cute.
That's
Yeah.
another thing that we don't talk about.
You gotta dress down.
Your age plays a factor for sure.
Yeah.
You know, you're the youngest one in the room. People are like, oh, okay. Don't be cute. Don't have a shape. Because now it's like,
It's threatening,
Yeah.
you know, and it should. I will say this though. I think that you said we seem to be all around the same age, you know. Like, I think our generation is like, we're not doing that. Like, I know me specifically, like the conversations and the things that I do with my team specifically like the black women. It's like, and I verbalize that to them. I'm like, I would never treat you how I was treated.
Yeah.
Like haze, like you said, completely haze. Of things that low key should have been reported to HR because they were not okay.
I don't know why I didn't report half the shit out of
and I just heard something last week that I was like, that's still kind of happening. But I feel like it's more of like the old guard. You know, when you look at, or even like organizations like the Brownies, I realized I have gotten my last 3 people from literally 2 people. Like, I was like, they low-key need to start staffing agency because I was like, they have like low-key vetted my people and they said, and I have hired literally the last 3 people.
shout out to Ayana. Hey, Ayana.
Right, exactly.
Shout out to
Yan. Like, so, and Ayana, we're both crazy ass Leos, you know, so, and it's like, I know if you can work with her, because she crazier than me. So I'm like, you can definitely work with me. Like, I'm crazy as shit too, but but there is still this, like, this that's my word, y'all, because it's the second time I've used the word nurturing in an episode. There is still like a nurturing spirit that I think that we have, because we've all, like, I know Yanni has gone, like, we've all gone through things that we would never, ever, ever want the next generation under us to go through.
I agree.
Yeah. Like, I don't even see myself at work in terms of like a black gay young male at work. I don't see it currently. I'm like the only one, and so I don't want to be the only one because I feel like I'm the only one. That doesn't benefit me at all. Like, if anything, it hurts me and it makes me want to have someone
That's alarming
else.
at your job.
So there's another one, but he's not as out. It's like I'm like out.
But I think
I'm
it's
like
twofold.
myself.
But I think you have to. But I don't want to put this on your shoulders. But I'm only saying it because I've been the only like black girl in the room.
Right.
I have a perspective that no one else can bring.
Right.
And so the same way, like, you have a perspective that, and I'm not saying like
I don't gotta be the only.
put it on your book bag,
person
put it on
talking
your back, and be like
being black and gay in regards to music and culture.
You said you what?
I don't have to be the only
You
one.
don't have to be, but unfortunately,
Right.
at this point, like, you are, right?
Yeah.
So and I'm not saying that I'm not saying that it's your choice whether it is or it's not your duty to be like, all right, now I'm gonna be the voice of, you know, like you said, gay black men, like, because I have literally been the voice and the, like, this is the black woman trope. Like,
here we go.
Let me put it on my back.
Let me put my back.
Let me put my black woman wig on. Let me secure her.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, this is what we doing today. You know, I got so many wigs. My like PR wig. I was like, oh my god, the PR wig. Listen, my PR wig was on tight. She was a little bob last week.
I love your PR wig.
My PR wig bitch is on. She on next week too.
The PR wig can get into anywhere.
The PR, yeah. Now, what's my braid? My braids is when I feel like, I don't know, I'm just like, I don't really give a fuck.
I was about to say, you over it. With
I'm over it. Yeah. I mean,
she's thinking about vacation.
That's right.
I said the week I had cornrows 2 weeks ago, and I swear I was a different person. And they had I wore this to work one day. I thought I was about to rob and steal
some
somebody.
braids. Oh yes.
I was literally like,
you wore this set with cornrows?
Sure did.
Yeah. Wow.
Sure did.
Wow.
Yeah. Even I was
She
like,
was about to walk to the bank and be like $12,000.
This was the
counted
day.
in the back.
Counted in the back.
I need my discretion.
Yeah.
This was the day I was listening to ESTG at 7 a.m.
Oh Lord.
So literally, I was like,
You was a serial killer.
ESTG.
Like who
I
the
was listening to ESTG at
She
7
was mobbing.
I'm
for the
just gonna
train.
say you was getting ready for the gym because that's the only
No,
reason.
and I did. No, I did the Peloton that day.
Okay.
Yeah, no gym that day. Yeah, I don't know. It's just there's different moods, you know. But I feel like, but again, you have to. I think the thing that the thing that we don't realize as Black people specifically is we have in these white spaces is we do have a very different perspective on all of them. So I don't
get paid well from my perspective.
Flip the table.
Because what I'm saying is that if I am the only one of myself, why am I offering my opinions and I'm still getting paid what I can?
That is a hard fight that I don't have the answer to.
It's literally crickets. Like, we're having crickets, so it's like, do you have a conversation around like, hey, I am offering you this of who I am, but it's like, but that is who you are.
No, I think it's, unfortunately, I don't think companies recognize you for who you are. You got it. They don't.
They don't.
You have to say,
and
take
up space.
Right. Take up. Come on, we didn't even get into taking up space.
As colorful as you are.
Yeah.
All of your personality. Don't be dimming shit. Don't be.
I do
shit.
so much.
No, you can't.
I think that.
No, I'm not dimming. I'm showing my personality.
Oh, okay,
so
okay.
much.
That's valuable. People pay for value.
They do.
Ooh, that's all. They don't pay for shit else but value.
Right.
Literally, not your skill set.
So, am I saying like take it or leave it kind of thing?
I don't think you're saying that. I think you then have to figure out this is the place for me or this is
Krystal
not.
space.
Mine is take it or leave it. Like now, I'm just in a situation where I have all these years, and these years. I mean, like literally, I've been out of high school for almost 20 years. I got some experience. I done some things. I done seen some things. I done made some things. I done created things. And you know, you're gonna take this. You're going to take all of this color, all of this personality, and you are going to pay me for it. Because this, what I bring into spaces, what I bring into rooms is unmatched. It goes beyond my skill set. You know what I mean? It goes beyond experience, really. Like, and I honestly, I was talking about white spaces.
It's culture, it's...
This is my first white-owned company that I worked for in the industry.
Oh, because you said you were TV1.
That's incredible.
Yeah. TV1 was a black-owned company.
I love that, though.
Yeah.
So I purposely left black.
Okay. That's all right.
Oh, girl, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. We want the essence. That's what I said. Love them to death.
I needed white. I needed white. I needed it. My spirit was so broken and crushed from black. So I was like, I went to a black school.
Yeah.
I'm black. You know, I need a break from black. And I ain't gonna hold you. I don't know if I need to. I need a few more years.
That's all right.
I need a few more because I was broken.
Yeah.
You're shiny, you're new, that'll wear off.
Yeah.
People don't care. You know what I mean?
Is that what they told you?
Sure, yeah. And I have all the time in the world, so don't worry. We gotta wrap it up because of this, I understand. But I was broken. And I was like, nah, I don't want to be around niggas no more.
I mean, that's fair, but like, I'm speaking of it from a white space, so.
So just perspective is so crazy.
It is. Mm-hmm.
Because I found my worth at a white company. My salary was automatically doubled before I negotiated.
Because when I
negotiated, my shit was doubled. I have the same title. Wow. I was the senior producer of digital and social at TV1.
Wow.
I have the same title.
Yeah.
It's about $50,000.
They pay me well, but they could be paying more.
Oh, absolutely.
I think that's every job.
That's like.
I texted y'all literally last week. Like, No, I don't think, we do so much more than the scope of like what we're actually.
Oh, absolutely. I don't even think I do my actual job.
I don't know what my job is, so fuck that. I don't even know what I'm supposed to do. I have no fucking clue.
They send that job description and I just be like, yeah, because I already know you about to fucking slide some shit in. Especially when you have a cross-functional role.
You know what's funny? I did not know, because I was kind of our HR. When I was hiring people, there was no job description. So to me, it's like if it's an assistant role, I was like, help me, please.
Yeah.
I didn't, and I think because of how I came up, I probably never even looked at that.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with HR, and then I had someone else hit me about something, and she said it doesn't read like, what it is. And I was like, y'all read job descriptions? And I was like, and I literally said to HR, I said, can you put in plus? Like the HR lady was like, no, it does not work like that. And I was like, just say everything and then some, like dot ellipses or something. She was like, no. I was like, I was like, can you get shit done? That would be my entire job description. If I had to do something for a role.
Are you solution oriented?
Are you solutions oriented?
That's it. Because don't come with me with a problem.
Please.
Come with me with the problem and the solution.
Yeah,
please.
I don't care what the problem is.
Do the work.
And at least tear off the solutions that you've thought about. Like option one.
We could talk it through them.
This is option two.
But people like, oh, the gas station was closed.
Yeah.
Right.
What am I supposed to do that?
What?
Would you want me to do that?
I hate to say that I do think that's a generational thing, but I do think that that's a generational thing.
Yeah.
I think the things that we experience, we could never go to someone and say some of the things that, like, unfortunately, I hear. That I'm like...
The generations behind us?
Yeah.
Like, it's funny. There are two generations behind us. And the elders need to take the millennials out their youth ministry mind.
Come on now. We old now. We done seen a lot. We done been through more than them at this point.
We're closer to 40 than we are 30.
Yeah, we just were talking about that. We are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4 years I'll be there.
Well, right now I'm close to the 30s.
I'm 3. That's why I said I'm 3. I am literally, I'm knocking on. One of our good friends is celebrating a birthday.
But thank
She's
God to
turning
be
40.
knocking on it. Look.
Okay.
Yeah, it is better.
Yes. To be on this side of the ground.
Yes.
So I don't mind aging.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
And we always say it's better on this side. Like, I would never ever go back to my 20s were fun, but it's way
time,
more.
But no thanks.
It's way more like even.
I'm having fun now.
We're having it's fun. Yeah, I'm having fun. Like Didi and I were literally talking this morning, and he was saying how. Remember when you were saying you wanted to go on vacation, and you're like, oh, we're going away next week, and I was like,
booked it like a couple days ago.
And I literally said to him, and I was like,
why not?
It's a blessing to be like. I'm going. Like, remember when I was like, I'm going to Jamaica? I booked it the night before. And was like, I'm going to Jamaica.
I don't understand how much, like, that is, blessing is the word. But, like, that was not my story, not even 2-3 years ago.
At all.
Yeah. So the fact that we arrived here.
At all.
2-3 years ago, I would not have booked a vacation the week before.
Parents' stories.
Yeah.
And you know what the killer is? As we become successful, we are likely, depending on what your parents do, we are likely making more money than our parents.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like they've never seen this.
Been doing that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's a whole different situation. Like people don't talk about like as you climb up the proverbial ladders, like you are now, your parent. You parent your parents.
Yeah.
A lot of us do that. And I spend, I don't say recklessly, but I spend.
You are enjoying the fruits of your labor and tenured fucking work and all those years where they paid you like shit and now you have the ability
to do
for you.
And that's crazy.
And that's all right.
That's crazy to me because I still got a little broke girl mentality sometimes, and I have to make myself spend. Spend money.
Is it crazy that I think that sometimes it's not such a bad thing, right? No. Not the broke mentality, but the idea of like, oh, let me just hold a little something because of like what, like something else. Like my sister is a homeowner. She told me today, she's like, her water broke. So she's like, should I buy a Rolex? So of course this morning I was like, absolutely, bitch, get it. Yeah. Then she's like, I have to buy a whole new pipe. Because the city, some shit happened with insurance. Oh no,
she got like 20. She got like 20 liters of deer.
Oh yes. The bitch is taking a shower.
She doesn't have a baby.
No, hell no.
Not water broke.
Her pipe outside.
She
of her
has
home.
no running water.
She has no running water, so she is taking baths from like a Deer Park thing or whatever.
And washing her hands with and rationalizing the water.
And she got a dog that's dehydrated.
Leave got their Rolex in this phone.
That's what I said. So then literally, like when I'm flying over here, I was like, okay, bitch, maybe you do need to get your pipe together. And I was like, but bitch, get that Rolex. Like at the same time,
treat yourself.
Because no one else is gonna do it. Like I treat myself how I want to be treated.
Yeah, and a nigga can't out treat me.
Come on now,
ever.
Same.
And like ever. Ever.
Yeah, you can't. I do this shit on Tuesday just because it's Tuesday.
Come on now.
Come on. What was that party song that everybody kept posting for like International Women's Day? And I
You're a
was
black
like,
girl, you're a black
Girl, you're a black girl.
I ain't gonna hold you.
Everyone did.
I was
Let me do
like,
your thing.
I was like, when did this song come out? Because I've only heard this song on International Women's Day.
I mean, shout out to Women's History Month to all my women.
No, fuck that, because I don't want all these performatory things. I want to be paid.
I don't walk out.
I'm like, fuck that. No, I don't. I don't care. Like words of affirmation is not my jam. Like that's probably the least.
What you
That's
want me to
number
do? Pay for
5.
your dinner, bitch?
I'm acts of service. Yes, bitch. Okay, pay for my motherfucking. I'm gonna
not
say
your
gas.
nigga.
My pay for my.
I'm not your nigga.
What's the shit called? Pay for my energy.
I'm not your nigga.
Oh, okay. I treat him like he my man.
Come on now.
Go hold that reels and TikTok tag.
What you want, daddy? What happened? Okay, gotcha. I'm also that girl. I be calling niggas daddy. So
Yes.
Niggas daddy.
Just mine.
Just
Ain't
my.
nothing wrong with that.
I love it. I don't know why.
I do too.
I don't know what's
Especially during sex.
Probably because I have daddy issues.
That's all right, girl.
Do you think we were actually supposed to talk about this last episode and we did not get there? Do you think that, you know, and this is if you're comfortable talking about this.
Let's do it, girl.
Okay. Like in your dating, do you date men that either are similar to what you had in a relationship with your father, or is it like a lack, or do you think that you date based on the relationship or lack thereof with a father specifically?
I used to. I was searching for a void. I wanted you to fulfill everything that Charles Franklin didn't do. And it took one of the niggas in my 20s. He was like, I can't be that for you. Am I supposed to be that for you? You need to figure out what your shit is. And I was like, what?
Oh wow.
He
called you out on that?
Oh yeah. He's like, you whining. You want me to be around every day, all day. You want to talk every. He's like, what's happening? He was like, because this isn't normal. Like my attachment to a man was so crazy. I was just like,
Where you going?
where you going? I'm with you. Can I come with you? Because I just had a fear of them leaving.
Got it.
Both my grandfathers are dead. My pastor was killed when I was young. My daddy left when I was 6. So I just had this like attachment. I'm going to the bathroom, I can come too. Like I was that. But also I'm an only child too.
Oh, okay.
So I did that with my mom as well.
Okay.
Like so it's not uncommon for me to be like, I can come.
Right.
Can I come? Can I sit right here with you? And they be like, literally my ex from college, he was like, I'm just going to the bathroom.
Right.
And I would just be trailed on his little heels. And I would just sit outside on the floor just talking to him.
Not like
He'd
the
be
babies, like how Kayla look her little kids be like, not like their
crazy. It
mothers.
was wild. Like, girl, get your life. Like, I had to really figure out what that was. So now I'm better at like detaching, and I trust you. I trust that you're not going to leave me.
Yeah.
And even if you just go into the store, I know you're gonna come back.
Yeah.
My dad.
What was that process like
That's
for
how-
you
yeah, I was
to
gonna say
detach? That's a major.
Honesty. I had to be honest with myself.
Okay.
You are dependent on men. Every single thing that you've ever heard in your life that was good, it came from a nigga that you was having sex with. Your first time hearing that you were pretty came from a boy that wanted to fuck you. You got contacts because the boy told you to get contacts. You joined the volleyball team. You tried out for volleyball in 9th grade because the boy said your booty will look cute in some shorts. And them little small little shorts.
Well, yeah, with little cheek hanging out.
Like everything I did from like middle school, high school, all the way up to maybe like 30 was for a man, for the attention of a man.
Wow.
And I had to be like, oh, you a little insecure thing. You got
Self-awareness,
issues.
though.
That's my favorite part of me, is being so self-aware.
That's beautiful.
Girl, I had to break some shit down because it was ugly.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
I was
though,
like,
that
yeah,
growth.
you're
And the fact that you
so
got
good.
there.
Yes,
You know, I
that's-
think
I
a lot
love
of people, you can look at, like you said, a lot of times we're parenting our parents.
Yeah.
And I can see, you know, I can see stuff in, whether it be like my great aunt, you know, these are women that are 60 something that you're not unlearning anything at 60. Like it's a wrap. Who you are.
Yeah.
It is what it is, baby.
They from the South. You know?
Oh,
Yeah.
You are who you are.
You are who you are. It's quiet, but I think, like you said, learning those lessons at like those 20s, shit, early 30s. Because, when you were younger, you thought 30s, you were like, I'm grown. Right. And I'm like, child, 30, I was still 27. Like, I was saying still a child. Yeah, like, I was completely a child. It wasn't until I think I got like 33 that I was like, all right, bitch. We're kind of in a ride. Like, I'm still working on it, okay?
But see, 30 for me, everything changed. I found like my femininity, and I was comfortable being like super feminine. I was more liberated sexually than I had ever been. Like 30 was such a good situation for me. And now I'm just
I was a wreck at 30.
Yeah, I was good. My 20s though, I was a wreck.
All 30 and thriving.
All my 20s I was a wreck.
I was saying
I wasn't as honest in my early 30s, but probably like 31, 32, I was just saying no to everything and everybody without any explanation, without guilt, without anything. I don't know what happened, but
it was a switch.
30, 31, I was like, oh, bitch, you a woman, and we gonna live into all of this womanliness.
I'm a grown woman.
That was exactly what
Do you remember Kiara had a birthday party and she came out to that song? And she turned 30. It was when she turned 30. When she came out to Grow Woman Beyonce.
I felt different. I felt so different. I really, really did. Wow. And it was a good different. It was.
I love it because, like I said, I was still very much a child. Very much.
I know that I was a child.
I've always just had an older way of thinking, so. I don't know. Blame my mom. To that, another Virgo. To the question that you proposed to Krystal around like dating. What was the exact question? Dating
like
for your
do you
father?
Date? No. Do you like when you are? I guess seeking a partner. Like, have you basically like sought after the relationship that you had with your mother, or father, or the lack of?
I did.
Do y'all want to answer that?
Yeah, I can. I think for me, I was seeking like. My father was there, so I was always seeking someone that was just like him. And when men don't, if I'm being completely honest, I still kind of struggle with it. And so I
could see why.
Yeah, when you don't measure up to it, I'm kind of like, well, I got this. Like I am the hyper independent woman, and
it's like the reverse curse of not having it, because having it. I actually have a blueprint of what you're supposed to be like.
And you're not that. And then it's hard to measure up to, because basically this also all came from, I saw this clip from Mike Tyson, and he was basically saying, and you know how you see all these clips and they're like, y'all women, these women not like my mother, you not like my mother, and you don't do it. And it's like, no, I'm not supposed to be your mother. But in the same way, a man is technically, he's not supposed to be your father. That is a very different relationship.
Yeah. Right.
And, especially once you remove the sexual part from it, though, it's like, are you dependable, or, are you consistent? Like all these things. And yes, and like my father was all those things. So in a partner, not that I wasn't getting those, but I think it was like other things. And he is, if I'm being completely honest, also he's not like my father. And it was a point of contention, because that is what I was used to. That's what I wanted. That is what I always, and to be honest, I also did not know I was seeking it. Until there was like one person that was a very toxic, unhealthy relationship. And I think he gave me all the things that my father was, but the nigga had a girlfriend. So it's like, you're not even giving me the things because like you got a whole, at one point it was a fiance, so it's like the girlfriend didn't even matter. It was like, I was getting everything else. Yeah, I was getting every other box checked.
Yeah.
And I think for me, the hardest thing in relationships is like figuring out what exactly I want and really what's important. Yeah. Like some of that shit is probably that I wanted in the past. It's probably not that important. But like you being there and like being faithful and like being in my corner, I know I can always depend on you. That's probably not something I would have said, 6 years ago. Because it's also like a given. But I wouldn't have said that. I would have been like...
Ain't no given. Niggas don't be knowing.
Yeah, it's not, yeah, exactly. They don't be knowing, but it's like, I think I had to be like, okay, but you are that, but you I don't know, I still can call my father to this day. I don't, but like, I know if I call you, I'm like, hey, I need XYZ. Like, you gonna do it.
I love that. Good for you.
But I don't.
I love that.
It's a tough thing sometimes, to navigate. Because like you said, it's like, it's the reverse.
Right.
Yeah. But imagine not having a blueprint.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And I can't even
scour.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, I don't know what love looks like, sounds like, feels like. I don't know if. I mean, he shouldn't have a girlfriend or a wife, but at the same time, if he's checking every other box, and you feel loved, you having a wife and your girlfriend doesn't feel so bad because I've been there. I've been the other woman.
It's crazy hearing both perspectives because it's like
a couple times.
There's a search, but then one's a search for one thing and one's a search for like something.
This is funny because I guess mine is like a mix of the two. So my dad was in my life, but he wasn't present. So it's a very alarming thing to have somebody be like you're in your home but choose not to parent you, to choose to like be distant. He was a very depressed, like a manic depressed person, literally all of my life. I don't really, and there would be spurts and moments where he would be, you know, I guess likable and whatever, but he didn't father me. He was there, but he didn't father me. And so I grew up thinking like, yeah, I had a dad, but like all of these other things and these experiences that other people had with their dad, I didn't have that with mine. And so that became obviously present and showing up, you know, in the men that I chose. So a lot of unavailable men, like emotionally unavailable men.
Physically
unavailable. You know, people who weren't present with me. And that's showing up too with me.
I have a question for you guys. I know you guys asked the questions, but I have a question.
Of course.
Do you think it's like cheating is a gene or like hereditary?
Cheating?
I don't think it's a gene.
I don't. Is there something that you can maybe pick up from like, you know, if you have a history of it in your family, like every man has cheated?
I don't.
So you're almost saying it's a personality trait in that regard.
I think cheating is and this is a choice is like. I have no willpower. Like I was on paleo and was eating bread and shit. So this is also let me preface this. Sean, I think I had a scoop of ice cream the other night. Okay, yeah, I was like,
come on, bring it back to bring it full circle, please.
But at the same time, I do think that cheating is a choice, and I think that what my experiences have been is that for someone that has really seen their father like dog their mother out and like that they want to be the complete opposite, that it's like I'm never ever, because of, like I said, whether it is that either you're going to follow in the footsteps or you're going to be completely different, and so my experience was, you know, because this man was like this, and the damage that he did on my mother and the relationship that I have with my mother, and I'm also talking about someone that has 2 children, 2 women, 2 girls, is that like I would never do, but it was also before, you know, he had children. Like I could not be that person because I saw all the damage that he did, and that like now some men, I think it is like this is what I grew up around. Like so, of course, this is what I think it's like an alcoholic. Like sometimes you will follow in those same footsteps, but then you see some men that, or people rather, that it's like, hey, I'm not even going to touch that drink because I know what that did. So that's why I said it's not. I don't want to minimize it and say when I say choice, like it's like the easiest thing in the world. But I do think it is more like how strong is your willpower to say I'm either going to do this or I'm not going to do this. But I think it's like inherent.
I don't know.
No.
And it's funny how you said men. I was thinking about me. Like I felt like
okay.
I felt like
I changed the last one to people.
I was thinking my father cheated, and my father has 7 kids by 5 different women. I have a little brother I'm 35 and a half. My little brother's 34. My parents were married. 2 separate mothers. And so I was cheating on every guy in my 20s. I was cheating on every one of my boyfriends in my 20s and into my 30s in the last
same.
And and
I'm a cheater. Maybe I do got the gene. That's why I was like, but I don't know. But my parents, I ain't know them to cheat.
But even then, I was cheating, and I was okay with being the other woman. So I was like,
do you like open relationships?
I don't.
And that was okay. So I was thinking like maybe maybe monogamy is not like, because I also don't believe that it is a natural thing. I think that it is a choice. Course, it is a discipline.
Yes, I don't think
it's a conscious decision that you make, but I don't think that it is natural.
Yeah, and I'm okay with if after a couple years or months, whatever your timeline is, I just believe in having hard conversations and open conversations and frequent conversations.
Yes.
I think every year you need to bring all your shit back to the table. So in 2021, we had said that we didn't really like to be with other people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having this feeling, I'm having this desire, my relationship, where it's coming from. Can we revisit this topic?
I love that.
Maybe
Like a check-in, like your job. Like
you check-in every
you need yearly reviews.
check-in every year, because anything can change.
My feelings would get hurt.
But same, mine would too. But I would rather my nigga be honest.
Like, damn, that dude's coming.
Is it
up.
weird
I
that
get her
I
too,
would
but
be honest?
I got read maybe a
to be
month
real
ago,
with me.
and I needed it.
Let's
So
work
I
on
am
this.
someone. Remember we talked about this of just like a trainer, right? And you were like, I can never do a trainer that yells at me. I have to have that. Like I have to have because I'm not really an accountable person. So
Yeah.
I need you to like, I need you to like look at
$600 a month.
Exactly.
I can't do it on my own.
I owe him $742 today. Okay.
Krystal, are you
Like,
a July Cancer?
I'm a June Cancer, baby.
And you're a June Cancer. So that's my Cancer. Is that my
That's
Cancer
why I-
rising?
June 22nd.
Oh, you like the cusp
I'm
of
the
Gemini.
cusp. I was almost a Gemini, child. That's why I'm
Is there also? I was just thinking. You know, we obviously don't know you that well, but I'm thinking about.
I mean,
it's
it's
all our
almost-
experiences.
I know. Are you free the rest of the day?
I was thinking the same thing. I was literally like, she coming to dinner tonight. I was already like, she coming to dinner. She not glad we're all in the same place. I was like, I'm changing my clothes. She coming to dinner tonight.
We're gonna go to the hotel after this.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. I just gotta change my clothes. We're going to dinner.
Yeah.
But. Okay, this is not to say, because again, I preface this, I don't have a lot of accountability. But I think because we are women that are like free, we know what we want. Like you said, ain't nobody gonna treat me better than I treat me. So why the fuck am I not? If I'm not getting this one little thing,
okay,
like I'm going to go find it in the next person. It's not okay. I'm also, y'all, I'm not saying it's okay. Like I'm a trash person. I have identified that. I'm working on it. Okay,
No, you're not.
but you know. But
You might have some trash adjacent.
Okay, there we go. Trash adjacent tendencies.
Yeah, but you're not trash.
But I think there is, and again, it's not excusing the behavior. But I think there is something to be said. Like our mothers probably would never have this conversation. Actually, mine might. I don't know, but they would never have this conversation. Yeah, mine actually might. She'd be like, "You ain't happy? Well, do what the fuck make you happy then." You'd be like,
my mother wouldn't. She would.
You're like, okay, I'll say most, right? Right. I'm not gonna include mine because mine probably be like, do what you gotta do. But our generation is more like we are finding our happiness with whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's okay if it don't look like what yours.
What you think it was gonna look like.
This is what works for me.
Yeah. This is what works for me. And like, so this is what I'm gonna do. Like, I am someone that. Because I'm such a planner, I don't do inconvenience. So when I'm inconvenienced, I usually know how to mitigate it because I was like, oh, wasn't really expecting this. Boom, I can pivot. Like I'm not someone that freezes up when something negative happens because I'm like, I wasn't expecting it, but it doesn't happen a lot. Because I have also so much bullshit in a day that happens. So when it happens that I could have prevented, oh, I don't know what the fuck. That's when I'm like, oh, wait a minute.
Right.
I could have got...
You're controlling.
Very. I am a super control freak. Like... So when it doesn't happen the way that I thought,
but there's something beautiful on the other side of being controlling, like the softness that you feel when you don't gotta come home and tell him what to do, and you've been telling people what to do all day at work. But the soft. But I'm telling you, there is value.
I'm walking out the room. I just got my other shoe because we're gonna be here for another hour if we talk about that conversation. Joelle, I know we got to go. I know. Joelle, take it up. All right, Joelle,
okay. But there is value in softening and letting a man be a man. I know, take it out, girl.
I'm literally about to dismantle the whole thing.
It's so beautiful.
I keep having these conversations. Now you looking at her like that. Y'all obviously know, and
what's the quote?
I'm like, that's a dinner combo.
Krystal? Yes, that's our dinner.
That's our dinner. Okay.
I'm going
to
to closing questions.
Yes.
We have two closing questions. What would you tell your younger self?
You are enough, and the journey isn't one size fits all.
I like that. The journey is not one size fits all. We
might name the show that.
Right. That's what this is. Last question from Oprah. What do you know for sure?
That I am just enough as I am. I don't need anything extra. I don't need I like validation. I ain't gonna lie. I like a little couple hundred likes on the picture. I like a couple compliments, thrown my way throughout the day. But just as I am, as God made me, with all of my experiences, with all of my inconsistencies and my insecurities, I'm still just enough.
Yes.
I walk into the room and it's okay to take up all the space. It is okay. That's why I named the podcast that. It's okay. Like, we are so fearful to, like, I want to
Take up space.
And
yeah.
I know it's okay.
Yes.
Like, you were here. God didn't. He could have took me out a couple times, I'm sure. I have been in some really, well, let me not be dramatic. I ain't been in no like life or death situations. But if he wanted to not wake me up 5 months ago, he could have.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's like, I'm here, so I owe it to him to take up all the space. I owe it to be myself.
You speak.
I know for sure that I am going to walk into every room and suck the fucking air out of it.
Come on.
In a good way.
In a good way.
Yes.
Yes.
Not
In a good
nasty
way. No, in a
It's
good
not.
way.
I'm not taking.
I
I'm also
love that.
giving
Yeah,
myself.
I'm adding.
to people.
I believe in value. I believe in value so much.
Yeah.
And I know for sure that I am valuable. I know for sure that I am just enough. All it is just enough.
That's right.
Love it.
I
I'm
know
looking
that
at
for
it.
sure.
Yeah, love it.
I know that.
That's right.
I know that's
right.
Wow, girl.
Material girl. I'm
Girl,
gonna yell
y'all
at
Let's
Yeah,
not cry.
shut up, I'm
Let's
cry.
cry.
Not Didi.
Avocado like
Yes, Didi, you got to take up space.
I do.
Seriously.
I
You
gotta
do.
own it.
Yeah.
Chris Jenner. This is Chris Jenner, right?
Yeah.
He be modest, and Chris is the glue for like multiple things.
Not even just us.
Yeah, not
Multiple
even
things.
just us. And so you
And
you
I
need
just
to
love being
own
in the
that.
background. I don't mind
And
being
that's
in the background of
fine.
things.
But at the
I ain't
moment
gotta be
that
the
you
star.
are supposed to be in the front, don't be like,
Own
oh,
it.
Am I supposed? No, we don't.
That's
do that.
me.
We don't do that.
No, you need to be singing in the background.
we don't do that.
You gonna hear me, bitch.
Like
Right.
you need to take up space.
Take
Me
up
too.
space.
And also you do it in a way that's not like, sometimes I think people think it's like threatening or like too
Yeah.
much. You're too nice and shit. And I also don't
Right.
like, my way is very aggressive.
But even if it is too much, that has nothing to do with me.
Yeah, no,
Right.
mine is
I
too
am
much.
not.
Yeah, I know
It's
mine
too
is
much
loud.
for you.
I'm
Yeah,
not
it's
responsible
you.
for your
Right.
insecurities.
Yeah.
Right.
Go handle that
Yep.
and figure out what that is, and
Right.
then you probably won't feel so threatened.
Right.
Yeah.
Like we're not responsible. Now we're responsible for how we make people like our intentions behind making people feel away.
Yes.
Now if I came into this room and I was trying to be malicious and you
Yeah.
know, that's my fault. But if I
Yeah.
came into this room with pure intentions and you guys or
Took
someone
it another
left,
way.
that's not my.
It's not, no.
Yeah.
I know my shit was pure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So don't be. Oh, well, it's probably gonna feel like and sound like this. It don't give a.
Right. Right.
As
Girl, that
long
was
as you
me
are
like 2
pure
days
in your
ago.
walk.
No, don't. I just changed this like a month ago. It's changed my life too.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Like I've been really vocal. It's changed my life.
That's important.
I mean, it kind of hasn't, but you know, I mean, it has, but hasn't. It makes you feel better though. But you have to take up space.
you do.
Yes.
You do. And I do.
Cheers.
too. And so the quote is, "Don't be surprised how quickly the universe moves once you've decided that you want better for yourself."
All right, we should just wrap. Yeah.
Krystal, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Krys Franklin TV, KRYSFRANKLIN TV.
Thank you so much for
Yes.
coming to the show.
Our new
This is
BFF.
amazing. Right, our new
Our
BFF.
new BFF, we are hanging out after the
Catch the story.
Material Girl.
Bye, y'all.
Making my way outside.
Okay.
Oh my god.
I love you.
Yes, this is
Like,
so
they
good.
know
I
such great
literally
energy.
I
Oh
literally
my
was like,
God.
oh, she not doing
Yes.
anything after. I was like, she coming to dinner.